Surprisingly, the SUV wasn't always a symbol of luxury. It was born from the grit of war and the grind of farm life. But fast forward to now, and it's all about sleek lines, plush interiors, and even electric silence. From the Land Rover steel shortage solution to the Cadillac Lyriq's LED-soaked cabin, the transformation is wild. So how did this no-nonsense utility machine become the go-to status symbol? Stick around because this ride is anything but ordinary. Right after World War II, the world needed tough vehicles, ones that could handle all kinds of terrain without falling apart. And that's how the SUV story really kicked off. This was the era that gave us legends like the Land Rover Series 1 and the Jeep Wagoneer, two machines that helped shape what we now call the SUV. Let's start with the Land Rover Series 1. It rolled onto the scene in 1948 at the Amsterdam Motor Show, and trust me, it wasn't just a showpiece. Maurice Wilks, Rover's top designer, wanted something as rugged as the wartime Jeeps, but also practical enough for farmers and workers. Steel was in short supply, so they went with an aluminum body on a solid ladder frame chassis. Under the hood, a 1.6-liter engine pushing out just 50 horsepower, but thanks to its clever design, it could crawl over rough terrain like a mountain goat. This thing wasn't just built to survive, it was built to work, and it became a global favorite in no time. Now, flip the globe to the US, and in 1962, the Jeep Wagoneer made its entrance. It was supposed to replace the old Willys wagon, but it ended up doing much more. Think of it as the first SUV that didn't make you choose between toughness and comfort. It had a 3.8-liter Tornado engine, options for rear-wheel or four-wheel drive, and get this, even an automatic transmission. That was a big deal back then. It felt more like a family car, but it still had that off-road bite, a total game changer. Both these rides were built with one thing in mind: getting the job done, no matter where or how. The Land Rover came with a power takeoff unit, so you could literally plug in farm tools and start working the land. Its short wheelbase and simple design made it a favorite for soldiers, farmers, and explorers alike. Meanwhile, the Wagoneer brought something new to the table: comfort. It was one of the first to offer independent front suspension and a smooth ride without losing that go-anywhere attitude. Big interior space, loads of cargo room. Suddenly, families and adventurers both had a reason to want one. These two pioneers didn't just show what SUVs could be, they set the tone for everything that came after. The idea that a car could be tough enough for the wild, yet smooth enough for the suburbs, that was new, but people loved it. And by the time the late 60s rolled around, SUVs weren't just for farms or jungles anymore, they were sneaking into everyday life. Folks wanted more than just a utility ride. They wanted comfort, space, and that feeling of freedom. And just like that, the SUV started to evolve, no longer just a tool, but something that fit into all kinds of lifestyles. That shift, it was just the beginning. In the 1970s and 80s, SUVs started to switch things up in a big way. They weren't just tough, boxy machines built for farms, forests, or battlefields anymore. Nah, this was the era when SUVs cleaned up, threw on a fresh shirt, and started rolling into suburban driveways. Comfort met capability, and suddenly, families were paying attention. Let's go back to the Jeep Wagoneer. It had already made waves in the 60s, but by the mid-60s and into the 70s, it was straight up redefining what an SUV could be. The Super Wagoneer came loaded with power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, and even a push-button radio. That's not your average mud plugger. That's basically a luxury lounge on wheels that could climb a hill. Jeep didn't stop there. Through the 70s, they kept refining the Wagoneer, giving it independent front suspension and a full-time four-wheel drive system. Translation: a smoother ride, better handling, and way less hassle behind the wheel. It was still a beast off-road, but now it didn't punish you for taking it to the grocery store. Then came a curveball in 1980, the AMC Eagle. American Motors wanted to shake up the game by blending a regular passenger car with the guts of a 4x4. And the result? A raised-up, all-wheel drive machine that came as a coupe, a sedan, or even a station wagon. Wild, right? The Eagle didn't just look different, it was different. It handled snowy streets and rough patches like a pro, but inside, it felt like a comfy family car. Spacious seats, a smooth ride, and a look that didn't scream adventure mode, yet it could still take you off the beaten path. In a way, this was one of the first crossovers before crossover was even a thing. The success of both the Wagoneer and the Eagle showed one thing loud and clear: people wanted it all: toughness and comfort. space and style, something that could haul gear and groceries. And that realization, it opened the door for the luxury SUV era we know today. SUVs weren't just for roughing it anymore. They were ready for dinner dates, school runs, and road trips in style. Now let's talk about the 90s, a game-changing decade for SUVs. This was when things got real fancy. SUVs started leveling up from rugged workhorses to luxury status symbols. You still got the power and space, but now it came with leather seats, chrome trims, and tech that made you feel like you were driving the future. One of the major turning points? The Mercedes-Benz M-Class. It dropped in 1997 and instantly flipped the script. This wasn't just some jacked-up off-roader. It was refined, sleek, and packed with that signature Mercedes style. And get this, it was built in Alabama, specifically to win over the American market. With a unibody frame, it handled smooth roads like a dream but still had enough grit for weekend getaways. Right behind them, Lincoln came in hot with the Navigator in 1998. This beast was based on the Ford Expedition, but they dressed it up like a five-star hotel on wheels. Plush interiors, shiny chrome, cutting-edge features, it was all about space and sophistication. The Navigator wasn't just for hauling, it was a flex, a full-size luxury SUV that screamed success. So, what was fueling this luxury SUV craze? A few things. The US economy was booming, people had more disposable income, and there was this rising love for outdoor adventures and suburban lifestyles. Folks didn't just want a ride that could carry the kids and the camping gear, they wanted something that looked good doing it. Car makers saw the opportunity and ran with it. They started blending utility with luxury. Premium materials, touchscreen tech, buttery smooth rides. SUVs were no longer just practical, they were aspirational. They told the world, yeah, I've made it. And this shift didn't stop at just a fancier look. It opened the floodgates for what came next. SUVs in the 2000s started getting loaded with tech, comfort, and performance features that took the driving experience to a whole new level. As we rolled into the 2000s and 2010s, SUVs didn't just get cooler, they got smarter. This was the era when the rugged beasts of the road started dressing sharp, acting smooth, and thinking fast. Manufacturers weren't just building bigger vehicles anymore, they were crafting high-tech machines that could keep up with changing lifestyles and rising expectations. One of the biggest upgrades? Safety. Early 2000s SUVs started borrowing features straight out of luxury sedans, like electronic stability control. Suddenly, these towering rides got way better at staying on course, especially in sticky situations. GM went all in, rolling out ESC across its SUV lineup, which made a real dent in rollover accidents. Big win. Then came the infotainment revolution. Remember when radios had knobs? Those days were over. BMW's iDrive system dropped in the early 2000s and changed everything, letting drivers control maps, music, and AC from a single screen. Fast forward to the 2010s and touchscreens were everywhere. Cadillac's Q system took it even further with sleek visuals and smartphone-style swiping. Your SUV was now basically a rolling smart hub. And performance? That got a serious glow-up too. Adaptive suspensions and smarter all-wheel drive systems turned these big boys into smooth operators. Acura's super handling all-wheel drive in the MDX made quartering feel sharp and responsive by shifting power between wheels like it had a mind of its own. Design-wise, SUVs also started trimming down and shaping up. No more boxy bricks, manufacturers leaned into wind tunnel testing and sculpted styling to cut drag and boost fuel efficiency. Take the Lexus RX 3rd Gen 2008. It had a sleek look and a super low drag coefficient of 0.33. That rear spoiler wasn't just for show. Lighter materials also came into play. High-strength steel, aluminum, even aerodynamic tweaks like sloped windshields and smooth side panels. The goal? Better mileage, better looks, better everything. As the 2010s wrapped up, one big idea was already gaining traction. It was time to go electric. SUVs were about to take another massive leap, one that wasn't just about tech or comfort, but about saving the planet too. The 2020s kicked off a major turning point in SUV history. This was the era when car makers fully leaned into electric power and sustainable design. Because let's face it, the world was changing, and people wanted rides that matched their values and their lifestyle. The result? A new wave of SUVs that were as eco-friendly as they were luxurious. Cadillac made a bold statement with the Lyriq, its first all-electric vehicle. With a range of over 300 miles per charge, it wasn't just about going green, it was about doing it in style. Inside, it featured a fixed panoramic glass roof, customizable ambient lighting in 126 colors, and a sound system so crisp thanks to AKG's 19 speakers, it basically turned the cabin into a private concert. Tech-wise, it had Google built in for seamless app access, and Cadillac didn't skimp on safety either, loading it up with over 20 driver assist features. Volvo also stepped up with the EX90, a 7-seater electric SUV that blended high-end design with next-level safety. It came equipped with advanced LiDAR technology that could spot pedestrians from 250 meters away. The interior used recycled and sustainable materials, proving that eco-conscious didn't have to mean boring. And if you're into sound quality, Volvo teamed up with Abbey Road Studios to deliver one of the richest audio experiences you could get in a car. But the real game changer wasn't just the vehicles, it was the mindset shift. Brands began using more sustainable materials, refining their manufacturing processes, and even tracking battery materials through tools like Volvo's EV Passport, which gave buyers insight into the origin and environmental footprint of key components. It was clear. The luxury SUV space wasn't just about premium looks anymore, it was about responsibility. Car makers set ambitious net zero goals and began rethinking everything from supply chains to recycling strategies. In short, the 2020s didn't just evolve the SUV, they redefined it. But with all that said, where does it go from here? Let's take a peek into the future. So, where are luxury SUVs heading next? Let's just say, they're not slowing down. The market is going through some serious changes, and it's all about two big things: customization and autonomous tech. Basically, the future SUV won't just be a car, it'll be your car, tailored to your style and smart enough to drive itself. Well, almost. Today's luxury buyers aren't just shopping for horsepower and leather seats. They want something that reflects them. And automakers are listening. Rolls-Royce, for example, revealed that nearly every SUV they've sold in recent years had custom touches, whether it's a one-of-a-kind paint job or handcrafted interior details. Jaguar Land Rover took it up a notch, dropping £80 million into expanding their SV bespoke paint service. Want your SUV to match your yacht or private jet? They'll make it happen. But it's not just about how it looks. Thanks to AI and smart data systems, SUVs are learning your habits, adjusting climate, seating, and even driving settings based on how you like it. Over time, your car starts to feel less like a machine and more like a personal assistant on wheels. Then there's the autonomous side of things. Brands like Mercedes-Benz are leading the charge with features like Drive Pilot, bringing in Level 3 autonomy. That means in certain conditions, the car can handle the road while you sit back and relax. This isn't the future anymore, it's happening right now. And of course, the tech inside keeps getting slicker. BMW just showed off their panoramic iDrive at CES 2025, a full-width digital display that spans the dashboard. It looks futuristic and feels even better to use. Plus, with over-the-air updates becoming standard, your SUV stays fresh long after you've driven it off the lot. As we look ahead, it's clear. Luxury SUVs are becoming more than just vehicles. They're evolving into personalized, intelligent companions, blending style, tech, and comfort like never before. So now to you, what are your thoughts on the evolution of SUVs? Do you have a favorite model or a memorable experience with one? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, as you also leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more honest car-filled content.